Welcome.
Hello and welcome back to another exciting episode of The Shed. Nah, it'll be fine, it'll be alright. Right, next little project is to attach that. That's a 12 volt windscreen wiper motor. Attach it to the side of a mill basically. So then I have automatic feed. Basically just to save me doing that all the time, loads of times. I think I got that from a reputable car supplier, Euro car parts basically, and they had a sale on because it was my first order, 45% off, so it cost me 15 quid. Oh yes. And you're probably thinking to yourself, well, how's he going to control that? Surely you just turn it on, it'll only go one way. But I've got an answer for that. I've got one of these little sweet boxes. Basically it's just almost like a volume control for a motor. Can't remember the exact term for it, but it's what you need. So I'm going to obviously use that. Going to attach it somewhere under there maybe. You've got a little twiddly knob on the front, and if you feel a way of attaching that and a way of engaging it and disengaging it when you want to use it. Because see, with that engaged you won't be able to, oh, got it locked up at the moment, you won't be able to turn it by hand, so you need to disengage that before using it. That's just a case of whipping that off. So you've got a good shaft on the end of there. So that 10mm, something like that. Nice sturdy plate to tap onto. My phone's gone off again as usual. Oh, shut up. But probably going to hang it down. Don't know. I've got 3 bolt holes to pick up on. Some sort of plate. Might just do a collar and a little dog that engages into the little one there. So it wants to be quite sturdy because obviously potentially there's going to be a lot of force. If you're milling, doing a face mill or something, you could have a little bit of force on it, so it wants to be quite good. So the first part is take that apart, see if I can do anything to that shaft to make that easier for me on the other end. So that's a best jump across to the bench I suppose and see what's going on. I'll bring that across as well, to be fair. Let's go. So across here at the bench, looks to be quite a simple design. 2 wires coming off the motor there, and I presume that one in the centre is, don't know, but generally I only need the 2 anyway, so happy days with that. Little flathead screwdriver. Let's have a quick look inside, just to see what's going on. Checking you guys are in shot, because the amount of times I've videoed stuff and you haven't been in shot is quite embarrassing. Right, we're in. Straightforward planet gear. Alright, that's the momentary switch then, or the stop. Got one of them silly screwed washers on here. These are always a nightmare to get off, aren't they? Right, might have to muller it. Well, first things first, let's cut them wires off. Let's void the warranty straight away, shall we? So we're not using that anyway. Certainly you won't be using the momentary system in it. So that's that out of the way. I don't think that's threaded. I think that's got a damn good groove on it. Right, let's get it on the vise. What's possibly could go wrong with this? So we tap in stick. Let's see if I can knuckle all my screwdrivers. That was easy enough. It just broke, so gonna have to replace that with something. Still, we're in. So standard worm gear, little washer. Everything straightforward, and a kind of little sort of bushing in there, so no bearings, nothing to worry about. Lots of grease. So let's get rid of that. Not going to need that until we put it back together. So what I'm probably going to have to do, let's see how hard that is as well while we're at it. So that is, try not to do one. Oh, that was nearly. Yeah, so it's not exceptionally hard. Just need to do something with that end. Do something with that end to make it mate up with the other end of that. Anyway, let's sort that out. Back with you in a bit. Okay, so what I'm thinking is having got an M8 thread on the end of there. What I'm thinking is making a boss that screws onto there with the M8 thread in, then butts up against that shoulder there, so we don't have to put that silly spring clip on, and obviously then that can extend to as far as we want it. In this end, to have the sort of dog, I suppose you'd call it, keyway, no, even better, the keyway, keyway in it, then actually, so that sort of sticks out to there. In this whole motor then, we could slide that motor in and out, because then I could put some sort of spring in it to disengage, go for like a couple of little springs on the sleeves, so it actually pushes it off. But also a little grub screw or little knob, so you can push it in, tighten it up to pinch it in against the drive, and then when you want to undo the screw, it will automatically pop off. That's the plan. So it looks like we're going to have a bit of turning to do. The three sort of slides. Got to do the spinning boss for that with a keyway in it. So there's a little bit of machining to do on this one, but like I say, it's going to make my life a lot easier when I finally get around to doing the box folder, which is still waiting for bits. Anyway, that's the plan. Let's jump across the, oh yeah, hey, let's jump across the lathe and start turning. Right guys, so this is the first time using the DRO. Want to put 3 hole pitches with this 5mm drill in between the 2 collars. So I've got that pinched up nice and tight. I ain't going anywhere. Basically obviously pinching the 2 collars together. Ideally what I want to do is put 3 holes equally pitched around a 20 PCD. So what I'm going to do, I can learn how to do this properly. So 0 where you are, then you want hole pitch, radius will be 10, use the arrow keys, start angle, I want to be at the top, so that'll be 90. End angle 360. Number of holes. No. Once that's done, let's do the same to this one in the same positions as that one. It was obviously tricky because I've got no side stop. What I'm hoping is I can loosen the vise, it unpinches that centrepiece, I can lift the centrepiece out and drop that one in. Doesn't matter the rotation, just needs to be the same depth and pitch. And there's a fair chance I'm probably going to change that out after the first one, but I am going to see how it goes. Right. Let's wind her up a bit. Give me a bit of clearance. Right, so I screw that in there. Loosen this a bit. I'm hoping that bit should pop out. And that's my phone. Right, so phone call finished with. Right then. So unpinch that a little bit. As suspected, that's seized in there. I suppose seized the wrong word, but which means that's going to be a nightmare to set back up again. Not impossible. Right. I think I'm just going to have to go for it. Yeah, that centre ain't going to come out. Alright, going for it. Right, now this is the tricky bit, getting it all to line back up again. Like I said, it's not going to be impossible, just a real pain. Huh. I think I got that somewhere handy first go, so good enough for what I need. Not the greatest, but like I say, they will engage. I'm only having one pin anyway, So the 3 positions just gives you more options to engage and disengage the dog, or whatever you want to call it. And there we go. Hopefully they mate back up again. There it is. Do I need it again? Nope. Right, so I've made it through the other side. Basically, going to put weld a pin into this collar, and that will slide across into these ones if you want to engage or disengage the clutch on the feed. Obviously I've changed the design a little bit, mainly because of the attachment on the mill. I need a fixed end on the mill, rather than, because I say that nut actually stops the screwway actually coming out of the table. So I do need a nut, which is basically what that is, just a fancy nut. Right, let's clean those up and go back to the bench. That bit will screw onto there. And I'm going to put a roll pin, still a little bit of plug, probably tighten up a pinch more, and put a roll pin through there. That bit will sit over there, and I'm going to have a pin or dowel welded into there, so that can't spin on there. And when that's on the mill, that comes lined up, you can knock the pin across and it'll only go to about there, which should be 50-50 of the collar. So those two, basically, when it's like that, they will run round no problems. So you can wind the handle from the other end and do what you need to do. Then that comes across, locks it, then you can use the feedway. That's the plan. It's looking good so far. So then, made up the 3 parts. I'm just going to weld the pins to the outer casing. Okay, so I'm just trying to decide which way round to have this motor once it's mounted. So that way, obviously you've got the best underneath clearance, and it's not sticking out the front, but it is sitting above the bed. Don't think I have much overhanging. But it would be nice to have the option, because I think the actual, the handles themselves overhang a little bit, so sitting something on a parallel just to get it above isn't really a biggie. Having it in that direction, obviously you hit the table, so you can't go fully in, and you'll probably knock everything off going that way. Having it in that angle, again, it would clear the bottom. It would clear most of the things that way, potentially, but it does stick out the front, which again isn't really a problem, I suppose, just more annoying than anything. Obviously up that way, that's just daft. So it's a toss up between that one, which does look the tidiest. We've got the 2 bolt holes firmly fitted into there, which if I put big enough bosses on it, I'm thinking would be fine anyway. So that's not really a problem. So it's between that one and that one, but again that one, you've only got a single bolt hole that can actually go into that. And I say I'm thinking 2 is going to be enough, so you've got that direction too low, that direction, that's just daft. That looks quite tidy, but you've only got 1. So I think I'm going to go with that one. Again, the bolt, I could unbolt it and fit it on, or take it off if you need be. It's only going to be bolted on, and you got that. At the moment I've got the 2 threaded together, so I can actually say arrange it how I want it first before save it having it flopping about all the time. So it's not done up completely. There's a bit better. But I'm thinking that's the best orientation for it. So it's just a case of drilling and tapping 2 bosses into there. Actually drilling the other way, I suppose, putting long bolts, bolting that onto there would possibly be the better answer. And then would that whole assembly go on afterwards? Potentially, because that would be a separate piece. Yeah, so that might be the way. I've got to drill 2 holes in there no matter what. It just depends if I put the bolts in that way, or weld some bosses, or a plate or something. But I'm thinking it is the twisting action. Just 2 good sized bosses going into that is going to be plenty. Like I say, I should be able to take it off and spin it around in any orientation if that does get in the way. But at the moment, that's the best option with what I've got. So let's have a quick run down of what I've actually done so far. So unscrew that. I'll say it's not going to screw together eventually. I've just got a couple of threads stuck out of there, so I could line things up. So what I've got, turn that over a sec so I can see what I'm doing. So what we've got is obviously that free fluted sleeve, I suppose you call it, on there. That feeds over the top, and then when that's half out, that engages with the one that's on here. And again, that's just screwed on with a little grub screw in it to hold it on. So that's got the 3 bits of bar welded in it. And there. So things are going well. Just got to mount this onto there. Obviously that's got a PCD. Should be able to work that out and then transfer it onto there using the new DRO. Okay, so that's the bolt holes drilled, just drilled straight through, countersunk to our M6 countersunk bolts, or set screws, whatever you want to call them. Possibly just going to do, as I say, M6 bolts through, threaded boss, I think it's got to be 71mm long, and then like a bar, possibly a couple of grub screws in that to hold the, so the parts on the motor are threaded but sleeved out. I don't know, it'd be easier to show you. And then you can take it on and off as and when you need to, because that motor is going to stick up a little bit and it might get in the way, and it'd just be easier to take off rather than taking this side plate off every time. So okay so far. Okay, so the keen-eyed ones among you can probably tell I've had a bit of a tidy up. While I was waiting for some material, I've been kindly given these couple of chunks of old bolts, which I'm going to make the spacers out for the 2 pins. The bottom one yet, don't know what I'm going to do, might pick up off and weld a piece on, don't know. Just going to see how sturdy it is with the 2 bolts for now. So I'm going to use that one mainly because it's should just be long enough for two of the pillars, and they've already got some holes tapped in it. So obviously I'm going to clean it up. Need drill and tap each end, and yeah, that should be a perfect job. So I shouldn't need that one. Put that back in the box. Let's go for that. So that'll be the last segment to bolt onto those. So I need an M6 that end and an M6 the other end. That hole might be okay for M6. It might even have M6 already in it by the looks of it, but we'll just have to see how that goes. So across to the saw. So what we've got here is it all mounted on. Just got the motor wired up to a little 3S battery at the moment, obviously 12 volts, with this little motor controller. So it's working quite well. If I don't drop everything on the floor. So it's working quite well. The little dog still lets me to turn the handle on the other side. Then when needed, line it up and drag it back in position. So that's a win. There's still a little bit of a little play, but I'm not going to get much out of that without going ball screwing full kind of CNC control. But like I say, I want to keep this one a manual mill, and just have the occasional long sweep if needed. So the next thing I've got to do, had a little bit of an argument with that grub screw. You can probably tell. So to get it all back off again, I need to drill that out first, and I'm in no rush to do that at the moment. Like I say, I'll have to live with that. It will be an easy thing to drill out. Re-engage it. And away we go again. Like I say, so I might have jumped the gun a little bit with obviously assembling it. I really should have sprayed these up, but again, the tempted was I was going to mount it on, try and align everything and make sure everything works, take it off, spray it, put it back together again. Because of that little grub screw, had a little bit of an argument with. It's going to stay on there for now. So I'm probably going to have to take it off at some point in the next few weeks. So you might see all this painted up eventually. So now I'm just going to get on with the motor controller and a two-way switch, so I can switch it between left and right, and mount a switch onto the mill, and away we go. That was the first big cut I've done on the mill with the new side feed. Let's get it out and have a look. Certainly not a bad cut. Obviously, I'd say wasn't the quickest, and the rapid could be a little bit quicker, but what I might do is get a 14 volt system on there, because I've got a feeling the motor will take an extra couple of extra volts, and just to make the rapid just a little bit more quicker when I need it. But all in all, it beats doing it by hand, that's for sure. Yeah, quite pleased with that. So that was only a, I don't know, 0.3 cut I suppose, 0.3, 0.4. I wouldn't expect too much out of this little mill, but certainly good for cleaning stuff up anyway. Win-win. Right, let's put that down. Let's get the heater back on because it's blinking cold in here. Bye for now.